Hello and welcome to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn, and this is the February reading for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for post notifications. I'm going to go ahead and roll right into this. So we're going to start out with a 3-card spread, past, present, and future. And so what we have right now in February is you look like you're being symbolized here by the 7 of Pentacles, right? And the 7 of Pentacles is really kind of like taking stock of your situation, where you're spending your time, where you're spending your energy, and where you're spending your money. But specifically, this is dealing with the 2 of Cups, which is in the past position. It looks like you might be coming out of a situation where a relationship didn't necessarily pan out the way that you thought it would. And I think you're kind of really kind of reflecting on the situation. This might have ended during Mercury retrograde. And you're just kind of taking the time to pause and look back at what happened, kind of like trying to figure out where you went wrong and if you spent your time wisely. So I feel like you're like in this like a space of real contemplation about a specific relationship for some of you, and others just in terms of relationships in general, the relationships that you have with people, whether you give too much of yourself or whether you don't give enough of yourself in these relationships, and really just trying to figure out how much time or energy you're going to invest in relationships with other people. And the outcome with the present is the 6 of Pentacles, which is really just talking about being in a space of giving. And so I do feel like you come to a space where you decide that how you're going to spend your time, how you're going to spend your energy, and you're not necessarily going to be stingy with it, right? You could also, in the present, be married to someone. So you kind of want to take a look at the power dynamics in your relationships with the 6 of Pentacles. I do feel like this is talking about relationships because, in the card itself, you see one person giving and the other person receiving. And so there is a energy here overall with the past and the future in terms of how you spend your time, your energy, but also your emotions, right? So how much you give in a relationship emotionally, how much you give, take in a relationship emotionally, but also your time, energy, how you give it and how you take it back. So working on having that be a balanced situation is definitely something that you're thinking about, is definitely something that you're working on trying to kind of bring into your life. You do aim to be balanced in the way that you give your time, your affection, and your energy. But for some of you, there is also the energy of the Ace of Pentacles, because we have a 7 of Pentacles here. We also have a 6 of Pentacles. So what is being shown here, even though the card isn't here, is the energy of the Ace of Pentacles. So outside of like the love component, there is the idea that some of you may be thinking about starting a business, and trying to really invest your time and energy into that business. It could be like a non-for-profit. It could be something that helps other people, a charity type of business, or just like I said, like an overall business, and you're really trying to kind of navigate that experience and trying to figure out like how to get a business started, and really trying to build something that will eventually give you long-term stability and financial benefit. In clarifying the past, present, and future spread, I'm also using the Lenormand deck, which is new for me, and I'm very excited about it because it adds such different dimension to the readings, and so I wanted to share this with you guys, right? So in the past position with the 2 of Cups is being clarified by 21, which is the Mountain card for the Lenormand deck. And this is really just talking about, challenges, a little bit of a hardship, a little bit of an obstacle. And again, this is like really pertaining to, like I said, a past relationship that ended in a difficult kind of way, right? And so I feel like you're kind of dealing dealing with the left back feelings of the situation. And that's kind of, where you're at right now, is really just kind of looking at the dynamics in that relationship, like I said before, and really just dealing with the fallout of that. What we also have here is the 27th card, which is the letter card, right? So a lot of this has to do with the ability to communicate. And I feel like the obstacle here in terms of like relationships has a lot to do with the way that you communicate, or the way that you're able to communicate with that other person, or just with people in general, right? So you might find that the obstacles in your relationship really has a lot to do with your communicating style, or the obstacle is the way that you communicate. And that might be kind of what is on your mind in terms of thinking about like the overall dynamic of this particular situation, especially moving forward, right? Just because there's an obstacle and there's an upset in this relationship doesn't mean that the relationship is necessarily over. There's just a delay. It looks like, there's just a delay in this relationship in terms of the way that it's moving. Like it could be a very slow moving relationship. Like you're having like a rough time getting to that place where you're both able to really share, like the inner parts of yourself, probably due to a little bit of fear, but there is a hesitation, and that is causing a delay in terms of the ability to move forward. When we look also at the 27th card that clarifies the Seven of Pentacles, we're talking about communication. So this could be a letter, this could be an email, this could be a text message. A conversation is happening here that you're kind of like looking, kind of like really contemplating the conversation itself, because the 27th card right next to it is the 23rd card in the Norman deck, which is the mouse card. And the mouse card is talking about a little bit of like a flawed communication, right? It's talking about a communication that might be kind of eroding the relationship that you have with someone else in terms of the dynamic of giving. So you might have been communicated with in some way regarding someone giving something to you. It might have been kept from you. It might have been it might not have been communicated to you right away. Sometimes this is talking about like an inheritance. I know I mentioned before the Six of Pentacles is talking about, something being given, or, wealth being given. And so for some of you, you might have a communication with someone, or someone has communicated to you that there is like an inheritance or some sort of money that's supposed to be given to you, but that information was not necessarily passed on to you. And so there's a delay in that communication, which is kind of eroding the sense of the relationship that you have with a person, which could be the person that is a Two of Cups individual in your life. So that is the first spread. Let's take a look at another spread and see what it says. For the main spread, I'm going to be doing the star spread, which is perfect for you guys because you guys are represented by the star, and we are in Aquarius season. So the first card that came out for where you're at currently is the Ace of Wands. And so this is really basically talking about the delay, right? So the Ace of Wands is talking about kind of feeling a little bit uninspired. Maybe you have an idea that you want to work on, and it feels like it's there, but it's like it's not necessarily clicking, right? So there is like a delay in terms of like you being able to kind of like work on this plan, because you might be feeling a little bit foggy in terms of like your thinking. You might not be really like feeling kind of like your best right now. You're not really feeling like in that very passionate, inspired space. But you do have something that you want to grow, or something that you want to turn into. Again, earlier in the first spread, the card for your present was the Seven of Pentacles, which is literally kind of like what this card is talking about. Is talking about kind of like trying to figure out the work and what you need to do, and in order to move forward. So there is like a desire for growth. There's a desire to move forward. But for some reason, it's like you're having a little bit of a delay with that. You're like struggling or feeling a little bit unmotivated. in terms of like moving forward. So, you might be a little sleepy, like your energy level might be a little off, and you're really trying to just kind of figure out what your purpose is and what you want to do. And, kind of like trying to figure out where you want to go right now. So that's your energy for now. I'd like to clarify reversals, and the Ace of Wands in reverse is being clarified by the Queen of Wands, the Judgment, and also the Emperor in reverse. So there is this idea that you are kind of struggling with what you're thinking about two people, right? So the Queen of Wands is usually representative of fire sign energy, which is Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo energy, and also the Emperor, which is representative of Aries. So there's a lot of Aryan energy around you, and I kind of feel like you are kind of dealing with these two energies and not really sure about the way that you feel about them. The Queen of Wands is also like an energy that is known to be affiliated with like magic. So with the black cat here, she could be, it's like the magician type energy. So this could mean a little bit of some spell work. I feel like you kind of don't trust these people, or you're unsure about whether or not to trust them. And that is kind of putting like a pause in your ability or your desire to kind of like deal with them, because there's a little bit of like a untrustworthy vibe in terms of the way that you're dealing with them, especially the Emperor in reverse, because it really feels like they're a little bit controlling and a little bit domineering, and I really feel like you just don't like it. But you kind of feel like there's something else happening behind that you're kind of unaware of, or you are aware of it, but you're hesitant to trust your inner guidance on that. And the extra clarification with the Lenormand is showing the Tower and the Ship, which means that these are people that you potentially live with or want to live with, but you're kind of hesitant about moving in with them, or you do live with them and you want to move away from them because you don't necessarily trust them. So this is someone in your household. It could be a family member. It could be like a really close friend. It could be a partner. The Tower card is really kind of an isolation type energy, but it's also talking about authority figures in your life. And so the Emperor in reverse and Queen of Wands might be people that are older than you. It could be like your parents, or someone that is in a position of authority, like at your job, that you don't necessarily trust, and you kind of want to move away from these people. So I kind of feel like that's like the contemplative energy that came out in the last spread is kind of like the energy or overall energy that you're dealing with right now in the present. So let's take a look at the rest of these cards and see what they have to say. The second card is the card for your emotions, which is the Three of Pentacles. And I do really get a sense that a lot of the hesitation that you have is because you do want to work with these people. The Three of Pentacles is talking about it's like a cooperative energy. And in a space when we're talking about emotions, I feel like you do want to work with them. I feel like you do have a little bit of admiration, or there is, like I said, there is some type of power dynamic in the situation, like I said, with the other cards. And so that might be kind of playing a role in your inability to, move forward or make changes, in particular with the dynamic of the situation and when it comes to leaving, because you do want to work with them. There is some level of affection and admiration for these individuals in your life. But the Three of Pentacles is definitely showing that it's not, your emotion is just not about one person or one thing. There are multiple things kind of like feeding into your energy right now. The third card in the spread is about your beliefs, and that is being explained by the Five of Cups. So there is really like a sense of feeling isolated, of feeling sad, a little bit of a lonely energy, and that is kind of the overall sense of your situation right now is a little bit of a withdrawal. If we can see the Two of Cups, though, that are behind, I do feel like you are kind of focused on what you have lost, what you're losing, the decay or the falling apart of, again, with the Three Cups here, these two other individuals, it's like you're kind of like mourning that situation. And so it's like you might believe that you don't have what you thought you had, but it's like you don't really necessarily realize that you do have an offering behind you with the Two of Cups. So you might be focusing on what is going wrong right now, but not really kind of paying attention to the fact that there are other things available to you to help you through the situation, or just other people that might be in your life that are willing to kind of give you the type of relationship or dynamic that you're looking for. The fourth card in the spread is called the signifier. So this is like the heart of the matter. The heart of the issue that you're dealing with is being represented here by the Six of Cups. And so that is kind of like saying that this might be you, this might be the other two people in this equation, but it is really talking about an energy of childhood things, right? So this could be someone that you've known since you were a child. This could be your child. This could be your parent. This is like a household type issue. Like I said earlier, this is really having to do with your household, the energy of like a parent, right? That's being represented here. And if you see in the cards, you have like a mother giving her child a cup, and the child is receiving it. And so there is like a sense of like maternal energy, give and take between maternal energy, which actually kind of like makes no sense in terms of the reading. And so I'm going to pull a clarifying card to kind of talk about like the dynamic between these two people. And I used the Lenormand deck, and the clarifying card is the Fox. Okay. So the fox is like a trickster type of energy, right? Foxes are known to be extremely deceptive, cunning, a little bit shrewd. And at the center of all of this is a person or a dynamic that is rooted in selfishness, and trying to protect themselves by any means necessary. So the card is basically talking about someone using a method that's not necessarily honest or fair. They might be withholding information from you. They might be being sneaky. And so there's like a level of distrust on your part for them, or it could be on their part for you, depending on, who you are in this equation. But there is like a definite mistrust between, like I said, between like a parental figure or you and a child, or someone that you've known since childhood that you might be trying to build a relationship with, or your relationship is kind of like on the rocks right now. And so that's kind of really putting you in a space of feeling a little bit like you can't trust people or trust people around you. And it's kind of, like I said before, putting you in a space of being secluded or secluding yourself because there is a sense that you feel like you can't trust them. So the thing about this card is that the energy here is talking about a person that is engaging in behaviors that they feel they need in order to survive. And so this is really like an energy of survival of the fittest. And that's kind of like what is at the core of this. Like this is for survival means. And so in the natural scheme of things, sometimes people do things in order to survive that aren't necessarily ethical, that aren't necessarily right, but if this is something that they've been taught as a child, or if this is a way that they've been taught to navigate in this world, and if it's necessary to kind of like, cut somebody else out the equation to kind of make sure that they're okay, then they're going to do it. And so I feel like this is the energy that is kind of like at the heart of all of the things that you're feeling, and all the things that you're going through. And so if you are questioning whether or not your feelings about this person are true, I feel like this is an indication that you might be 100% right. Okay. The card that came out in the position for the unconscious about what is hidden and will surface is represented here by the Nine of Wands. And so this is like a really like a type of defensive energy, but again, looking back at a situation and feeling like you have to self-protect, right? You might feel that you're being under attack, or someone else is kind of like, or you're kind of in a space where you're looking back at a situation like with earlier and kind of looking at the downfall of it and kind of taking stock of that. There's, like I said, there's a lot of contemplative energy in your cards. The Nine of Wands is a person that just like really came through a fight and is really just really defensive and really just trying to guard themselves and guard their energy. And so this really could be you, or it could be the person that you're dealing with. Clarifying it with a Lenormand deck gives us the Coffin card, which is really about the end of something, right? It's about a loss, it's about mourning. And so I kind of feel like you're in a space where you're mourning the loss of this relationship, particularly this, like I said, the Six of Cups relationship with someone that you've known for a long time, could be a parent, could be a child, because I feel like you kind of feel like you have to kind of preserve yourself, or you feel like you have to protect yourself from this person. And so at the heart of this, there is like a feeling of kind of mourning the loss of this relationship, and just trying to protect yourself, or even trying to bury the way that you feel about it, because it isn't really something that you want to deal with at the time. Like I feel like it's emotionally too much for you. And so there might be a sense of you trying to bury those emotions. Remember, this card is talking about what is in the subconscious and what is going to come out. So your feelings about, all of this is going to eventually come out. Or if this person feels this way towards you, be prepared to hear this, right? Be prepared to hear that the person feels that way about you. The card that came out for your hopes and dreams is being represented by the Nine of Cups, which is crazy because that is like the wish card, right? But in reverse. So what we're talking about is obviously this dynamic in this situation is really not something that you expected to have in your life. But I do kind of feel like there's an element of you feeling like you kind of always knew it. But I feel like you're a little bit resistant to that information. And so, it's kind of like your worst nightmare in a way. But this is like a moment and an opportunity for you to kind of like adjust your life and have it look like the way you want it to look, right? So what are your hopes and dreams? What is it that you want? What is it that you want in a relationship? What is it that you want to do for employment? If this is about a job, where is it that you want to live? If this is about, finding out something about people in your household. So this is really an opportunity to realign. And interestingly enough, like in the first spread, the energy of contemplation with the Seven of Pentacles is there, really taking stock. I kind of feel like that's definitely where you're at, right? So if you look at the Nine of Cups in reverse, and then underneath it is the Five of Cups, there is like a Four of Cups energy, right? And so the Four of Cups is like asking you to kind of pull back and to retreat into yourself, which is what I kind of feel like you're doing, and just withdrawing from the situation. So that is your overall energy. But the message here is for you to focus on what it is that you want to create in your life, and how you want to navigate, because this is an opportunity to kind of realign yourself in pursuit of what it is that you actually hope and dream for, and doing the things that you need to kind of make your life reflect that. I pulled clarifiers again from the Lenormand deck, and what came out was a 20 card, which is the Garden, and also the Heart card, which is the 24th card. And so the Garden is really talking about public spaces, right? Public spaces, whether it be online, the television, the radio, the internet, just anything in general in public. And so this could be indication that whatever it is that you're hiding, whatever it is that's going on, is going to be made public, whether it be through you, or whether it be through like a public exposal. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it being exposed publicly, whether it be on the internet, the television, or the radio, or be announced in some sort of way. This could also mean that you, like I said before, are working on something that is tangible. So you might be, trying to work on writing a book, again, a business venture, trying to do something that ups, like, the way that you feel, and like I said, working towards what it is that you want to create in the world. This could also be an announcement, like like a marriage proposal, especially with the heart card. You might be meeting someone that kind of like takes your focus away from your current situation, and that is something that you will become public. Also, this is also like an element of like teamwork being present, which is also showed with the Three of Pentacles. So you might be in a situation where you find someone that you want to work with, or someone else that you want to depend on. There might be a little bit of hesitancy with you because, like I said, you just kind of came out of a situation where you have a little bit of a distrust. And so that might be an element that kind of like shows up in your new dynamics, but to be mindful of kind of getting rid of things that you're taught, especially from childhood, because if this is the heart of the issue, old things that are passed down from your family members or within your family, like these old patterns and these old wounds, is something that you might want to consider working through so they can add value to your life in the future, right? Especially with future relationships. So I feel like you're going to be in a space where you're going to find like a social network for yourself, a community for yourself where you feel loved, appreciated, and respected. And I feel like that is ultimately your greatest hope and your dream. And I feel like that is something that will ultimately happen because the Two of Cups energy is still here. And with the Five of Cups in reverse below this card, there is that one thing that you're missing, which is outside of your current situation. So those things are available to you. I think you just need to acknowledge it and to just be honest and open about what it is that you're feeling and what it is that you're going through. And let someone else help you through this situation or be supportive with you through this time period. The final outcome is being represented here by the Sun card, which is freaking amazing. So again, ultimately, regardless of what's happening, regardless of what you're going through at this time period, everything is going to work itself out. So have no worries. The sun will come out. And so you're going to be able to move forward. You're going to be able to be victorious out of the situation. And I see like whatever it is that happened, you're going to kind of move away from it and move forward. And so that is a blessing to see. That's great, great information. And so I'm going to end the reading here. Gave you guys a little extra sauce because it is your birthday, but this outcome card is amazing. So I want to thank you for being here. Please go ahead and like the video. Leave me a comment below to let me know if this resonates with you or how this is manifesting in your life. And again, subscribe to the channel and come over and follow me on my socials, and I will see you soon.